Hello everyone, my name is Cap and welcome back to the channel. Another 7 days to die video. Doing all this in Alpha 16.4 on the PC, so this won't work on consoles because I'm using some more traps. In a more recent trap video, I was working with the dart traps. I showed you guys how far it could possibly go and that the darts didn't lose damage based on how far it was traveling. Whether it was 10 blocks or 40 blocks, they still took the same amount of damage. But I did have quite a few people have some additional questions and thoughts about, well, what about this and what about that? So I'm going to try and retest some of those out today. And one of the first ones somebody mentioned was, well, what if the zombie is basically point blank range? So I have my lovely assistant poised right here in front of the dart trap. Let's see how much life she has. She's currently sitting at 150 health. So we're going to trigger one dart to go off at point blank range and see if it does anything different than it did at 10 blocks, 20, 30, 40, and 50 here. So, okay, she did not like that at all. I mean, she got shot directly in the back and I kind of feel bad about it. But let's see here. She took 29 damage just in the last video, so it doesn't seem to matter if they're 6 inches away from the trap or 50 meters. If the dart hits them at all, at least this particular zombie, she took 29 damage. So okay, let's ramp this up and try something a little bit different. Alright, and we've extended the test into the ludicrous realm. Now we still have our lovely assistant here. This is the same one. She's still sitting at the same amount of health at 121, but instead of having just a dart trap sitting here, we have it run all the way up as high as we could possibly go. So let's travel up there, and you can see that we have a dart trap facing straight down, loaded full of darts here. Let's make sure it's still got plenty of ammo. Still got plenty of ammo for this particular test. Whole bunch of electrical relays all the way down to the side. So what somebody else wanted me to test was, well, if you have the dart trap facing straight down, wouldn't you be able to shoot technically from the highest amount of heights because, you know, gravity and everything else? So we're going to test out where that'll work. Now there's no way for me to see exactly if it's going to come down, so I hooked it up to just a switch instead of a trip relay, so I can just turn it on and see what happens. Alright, so we have power to the darts. We're looking to see if anything's come down. Okay, are you feeling anything? You doing okay? Okay, so far, nothing's going on. Alright, let's fly back up there a little ways and see if we can actually see if it's still shooting. Okay, so we can see the darts are traveling out here. Okay, you can hear it now. Alright, so travel down a little bit further and see where it's actually going here. Okay, good to go there. Darts are still traveling down. Darts are still traveling down. And we seem to have lost them. It seems like they're getting to about right here. And they're no longer going down anymore. That's interesting. Alright, let's see how high I am off the ground here. Elevation, I'm at 76 meters up. Okay, so let's see how high this is possibly up here. Up at the very top. So at 76 high off the ground, it was no longer coming up. So let's see from here. I'm at 192. So, you know, a little bit of quick math. 192 minus 76 equals about, what, 116? That's a decent little distance there that the block can possibly travel of, you know, 116 blocks, relatively 115, 116 blocks. But, you know, for the curious people out there, just like they can have a trap all the way up to the top of the world, having it go straight down, would it do the same amount of damage? Well, 192 blocks is about 116 too high to be able to hit anything. And you can see the darts do travel at a pretty decent rate, even though they're shooting all the way up there at the top. Air resistance, gravity don't seem to matter. But for anybody who's wanting to put a trap up at the top of the world and shoot zombies from the top of the head for whatever reason, because y'all are crazy, it's not going to work out. So you have to go a little bit lower than that. Alright, to make sure we're testing this fairly, since we could clearly see that it didn't work from the very top of the world at 192 blocks, doing basic math, assuming that I can actually math correctly, see I'm at 76 blocks, and I have another dart trap facing downwards here. Let's go check in with our lovely assistant. And we have our lovely assistants propped up underneath it here. We have a brand new one here because, well, a few of the other ones were being just a little bit non-compliant, a little bit too much tomfoolery going on, so we had to put them down. It happens, but we have a brand new Sylvia out here, and she's ready to help us out. So she's ready to go. Let's see. There she goes. A little bit of delay in getting hit. All right, so 29 damage. They're shooting from way up there at 76 blocks. I missed the tripwire. Nice. Okay, so there's about a 1.5 second delay between when it actually fires with the hits from that distance up here. So it is a viable solution to shoot straight down from 76 blocks and still hit them. I don't know why you'd want to do this, but like I said, you people ask, so I'm willing to test pretty much anything. Alright, now for the next test. But I know people want me to test this fairly, so I put one just 2 blocks above her facing straight down, same kind of setup over this trap here. So we'll just trip this off here. Okay, so she got hit on the second one. First one she seemed to have missed, or I seem to have missed. 92 from 121. Yeah, same amount of health. She's taking 29 damage on every single dart. So it doesn't matter necessarily if it's going forwards or straight down. It will still hit them. So it doesn't seem to matter if it's going straight forward or straight down. It does the same amount of damage. But it's at least an interesting test in case you want to have a room set up with dart traps facing down. Alright, next test. Okay, and for our next test, we're going to go a little bit crazy with it too. Some people want to know like the maximum possible distance a dart can travel. So what I did was I'm back up at 76 blocks off the ground, have it set up to face outwards that direction. Now using a very basic, easy to use formula that I'll post here on the screen now, we can calculate the total possible distance based on the velocity, which we don't know, the trajectory, which should be 0, and get an estimate as to how far it should go. But since that's hard math and we're not here to do math, what I did is I'm going to hook this up to the switch, fire it up so you can hear this actually going, and we're going to try and trace the trajectory of the darts and see if they will make it out to the ground at all. I mean, we can still hear them flying, so we're still within the range here, and if they will actually make it all the way to the ground or if they disappear. Kind of looks like they are disappearing. Let's see here. So it's traveling past me here. Alright, so that's about as far as they can go. So that is as far as we could possibly go right there. I was hoping maybe, just maybe, that physics and all that other stuff would just work out wonderfully. I honestly was hoping I could put one of these up at the very top, fire it off, and then try and kill a zombie at like, 1.5 kilometers from here, because that would just be cool. But it appears that this is as far as a dart trap will possibly go. Now, let's see if I can figure this out here. I'm at about 854 north. And I'm going to head back north that direction and see how far it is. Now, I don't know for certain if every latitude, longitude marker is exactly a meter, but we can kind of at least get an estimate. So we were at 854, and we move back over to where the actual dart trap itself is. And we are now at 964, so at about 110 blocks, even 109. So that's not too far different from the maximum distance at which it can shoot down. So that's kind of interesting at least. So if you really want to try and go for huge distances, the dart trap is not the right thing to use because, well, you're not going to get very far with it. It's kind of unfortunate. I was really hoping that I was going to be able to fire one off at the top of the world and kill a zombie in another time zone, but that just doesn't seem to work out, unfortunately. But at least that'll give you a little bit of information on total distance, velocity, and damage, and all that other stuff. So we got one other thing we're going to try out here. Alrighty, and the last thing I'm going to test here is basically a good defense setup here. Somebody asked me, like, well, what if you made just a long hallway of dart traps? We've tested out before that zombies like hallways, and they will try and go towards the entrances here. And so what if you had the entrance to your base set up with a long line of traps set up to some trigger plates here, and how well would that work against a horde? So I have 26 total dart traps here. Each one's completely maxed out with, well, it's got 500 darts each of them locked. Go into pressure plates, go in this direction, and let's show you the other side. Got a reinforced hatch going down in here. Open it up slowly. And I didn't completely develop the underground. This is just a basic test. But we have the power sources here. We got some battery banks running to some switches so I can turn them on and off, because loading these while they're on is a little bit on the dangerous side of things. And then we have a ladder going up to where we can actually stand right here and see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fast forward the time a little bit until we get to the horde mode, and make sure to close that hatch over there, hide right here, and to see if we can get the zombies to funnel in through this specific doorway that we're right here, and if all these darts coming at them in massive arrays of damage, so you can see all the power sources going to them, if it would actually stop a horde from being able to get to me here, assuming this was like the front of the base. Of course, if you're going to do this, one, it's entirely resource intensive, and just to be able to make all this stuff would take an insane amount of time, but if you're doing it for funsies, this might actually work out. So we're going to get everything set up. I'm going to get it to a horde mode. I'm going to park my butt right here and see which way the zombies come in and if they will actually come after us or not. So let's test this out. Oh, and of course, to make it a little bit easier, I put a couple of spotlights out here, hooked it to the same battery banks underground over here, and have it put out in front of it, because once the horde mode starts, I know it gets really dark and it's even harder for you guys to see because of how YouTube compresses it. And even with my little mining helmet flashlight pointing on here, it won't extend it out here. So let's see how this looks in the dark. Alright, we are coming down to the last couple seconds, couple minutes I guess in game, before the 2200 dong here. And there it is. You see we are hunted. Okay, hopefully the zombies will abide by all the given laws that we've accomplished and seen so far, and that they will all try and go straight in through this open door here where all the lights are, than try and go in through the side or try and figure out how to climb in through the ladder. I mean, this is steel blocks all the way around me here, so I'm not so much worried about them getting through here. I'm more or less wanting to see how well the dart traps work, if they can get up here to me. So we'll just have to see. We're going to let it kind of sit here and run for a little bit and see what kind of protection this level has. And of course, if you're going to do this for a bigger base or something like that, you'd probably make your hallway a little bit longer, but I made mine just 4 long, just kind of a proof of concept here. Okay, we have a few guests. They have showed up. They're on the outside walls over here instead of over here where the actual traps are. That's not very cool. Hey, there's a wide open door right over there. They're coming in all the way around me here. This ain't cool. Hey, literally, there's a... Let's see if I can, Hey, right there, look. I'm wondering if this goes back to the zombie path fighting that I was showing you guys before, with them having avoidance towards traps and stuff. They can see all these pressure plates here. Maybe they're seeing that as that what's going on, and they're trying to get away from it. That's kind of rude. Alright, well, we got a couple of them in here. Let's see if we can do that again here. Let's get a couple more. Trying to lure the horde out this way a little bit, and then let's see, get in here real quick. I'm in God mode so I can fly basically, but we're just trying to see if this actually works or not. Come on, Big Mama. So far, it seems like it's working really well. All right, let's get them out here a little bit further. I know this is kind of cheating, but I'm more or less trying to prove of concept here. Okay, so get them out here. Okay, run inside, and here we go. No, hey, y'all come in here. What if I'm close enough to the entrance? There you go, come in. There we go. Marlene, you seem to be stuck here. Here, let me help you out. Oh, no, she's dead. She's just not wanting to lay down. And Big Mama's kind of doing the same thing. Sylvia just got wrecked. Okay. Wow. Oh, dear God, the bodies are piling up pretty quickly here. Okay, now I know, like I said, I'm having to go into God mode so I can fly back and forth, because they're more or less trying to get through the side walls and stuff here, but I think it's because they're trying to avoid getting through the plates. Maybe if I set up some tripwires instead of actual plates, this would work out, but this is clearly enough darts to be able to keep them from being able to get to my door here, if this is where I was going to have it. Okay, well, I'm still flying around in God mode right now, because that's clearly the only way I can get this to work out, but you can see as the bodies are no longer on the floor, that looks like some weird carousel thing, and dead bodies strapped to these rods coming out. Hey, get off me. That ain't cool. Hey, come in here. Yeah, that's what you get. Obviously, you can see this does technically work if you can get them to come inside this thing. So, if you're going to plan on using this for your own base, I'd highly recommend maybe, instead of using the plates that they seem to want to avoid, to try and maybe put in some tripwires or make this a little bit wider so they're more likely to try and funnel into this base itself here. Because right at the moment, they are doing a grand job of dying once they actually get inside, but they're definitely trying to run around the outside of the base. Okay, so overall, this is a viable solution, just a little bit of modifications going on here. During the entire horde, all they wanted to do was to get in through the back and to beat in through the walls, which, given enough time, I think they could probably at least do enough damage to where I'd have to work on repairing it. So I guess if you're going to use this as a solution for your base, maybe make it a little bit wider, a little bit higher, and maybe use like tripwire instead of trigger plates and see if that will prevent them from trying to go around the outside and they'll just try and funnel in. Or I don't know, maybe put a door on here and see if that will lure them into trying to go through here, because we know how they work out with doors. So, an epic dart trap alley here is totally viable, but it's going to need a little bit of work to get it to work better than what I got it to. So anyway, that's the end of this video here. I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, found it useful and entertaining. And if you did, be sure to use that thumbs up button down below the video. And if you have any questions, drop it in the comment section down below and I'll see if I can help you out. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you guys so much for your time. You have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later.